People were like, how are you still joking and smiling? And I'm like, I was blessed.
David Gussler's been smiling for a long time, so much so that he and his wife Andrea chose that to be the name of their restaurant. Welcome to Smiley's Grill and Barbecue in Vinton.
Food's delicious.
Food brought these two together over 30 years ago at Pizza Inn. Andrea in the kitchen, David delivering pies. They married and eventually opened their own diner in Stewartsville. It was successful until someone started recruiting them to check out Vinton.
An inspector for the town of Vinton came with his wife because we had a buffet, and when they were finished, he asked if we ever thought of coming to Vinton. I'm like, no, not really. And then about 2 weeks later, he showed up with somebody from the town of Vinton, and they said, well, if we find somewhere, would you be willing to move? And we're like, yeah, probably.
Now that the Gusslers had a spot picked out on Cleveland Avenue, they needed a good name. They were on the couch, David scrolling through neon open signs, Andrea scrolling through possible names.
When I got to this one point, I saw this picture right at the same time. She said, how about Smileys? And I looked over and looked down and I said, I think that's gonna be it. The O had a smiley face on it.
And to their surprise, the majority of their diner customers actually lived in Vinton.
Dad really helped the transition.
It's a nice hometown place to eat.
Enough to put a smile on any restaurant owner's face. But that got flipped upside down in January 2023. When customers logged onto Facebook, they saw a post from the Gusslers. They had been involved in a violent car crash.
It was gonna be head on. I turned it like this to where it hit me because my wife was here, my daughter's behind her. Dislocated my whole leg and shattered my hip. Put plates and pins and screws and all in my leg and my hip. And my wife really was questioning why are we here, and she really thought she should shut the restaurant down.
In that moment, they leaned heavily on their faith, and with a prayer, a miracle started to take root.
I really believe that we're doing a Christian type thing here, touching a lot of people. She knows that I would not want to close it down.
So after weeks of extensive rehab, David was back in the restaurant, waiting on tables, in a wheelchair.
People saw the dedication and the faith and belief just right there. They said that was a miracle, and I said, yeah, God brought me through this. I want to keep doing this for God.
From the scripture around the restaurant to the testimony David is happy to share, the food coming out of this kitchen is just the cherry on top.
That's a big chunk of pulled pork, my friends. Oh, that's sweet.
Homemade meatloaf, roast beef.
So much juice and flavor that pops through every bite.
Hamburgers, we hand patty our own burgers.
See how the hamburger hangs over the bun?
That's a big daddy right there. Classic American burger, chock full of chuck.
We actually get people coming from Blacksburg, all the way out from Lynchburg, come here because they hear about the hot dogs.
Homemade chili, homemade slaw. Oh, that's good.
Chicken is delicious. Of course, I prefer the fried.
Juicy, tender, lightly breaded, perfectly fried.
And what would this place be without smiley faces on the food?
That's fun to eat.
Smiley's has a sweet tooth too. Homemade desserts like the brownies, butterscotch, lemon pound, and chocolate cakes. So what keeps David smiling? For him, it's quite simple.
It's a Christian type thing that we really like about it. And I also like to show customers, whether they're Christian or not, that you can still have fun and be a Christian. And I think that's partly why it's been doing really well.
Smiley's Grill and Barbecue, a hometown eat where you can't help but smile.